Shalom, Israel, and the entire grafted body of Yeshua, coming to episode 2 of Precept Performance, building the internal and external temple. So today we are going to cover roots and plants and us as trees, and how the word, the living word, reflects it, and how to maintenance and sustain your root system as we wait on the return of the Most High. So today we're gonna cover these precepts. It'll be John 15 verses 1 through 7. Then we'll go to Mark 8 and 24, the account with Jesus and the blind man. Then we'll go into Jeremiah, which touches on more trees. And we'll touch on Joel 2 and 25, Proverbs 12 and 3, Sirach, Ecclesiasticus 3 and 28, out of the Apocrypha, Wisdom of Solomon, also out of the Apocrypha, 3 and 15. Then it'll be Proverbs 12 and 12. Then we'll touch on Hebrews 3 and 13. Amongst that will be our workout of the day, and it'll be a pretty hefty one. Looking to get some pretty good heart rate and pretty good pump today. It'll be four sets of 2 snatches and plus 2 overhead squats. That'll be our warm up. Then it'll be 6 sets of 2 hanging squat snatches. As we warm up some more and get into the bulk of the workout, then it'll be 2 rounds of 6 chest to bar pull-ups, 6 squat snatches, and another 2 rounds of 7 chest to bar pull-ups, 5 squat snatches, and then 2 rounds of 8 chest to bar pull-ups and 4 squat snatches. So we'll just get right into the precept to begin with, and we'll go and visit John chapter 15, verse 1 through 7, and that account is as Yeshua is talking to the disciples, and it says that I am the true vine. This will be the foundation of everything that we touch on today. It says, I am the true vine, and my Father is the husbandman. Every branch in me that beareth not fruit, he taketh away, and every branch that beareth fruit, he purgeth it. So it's saying that he pretty much sifts out every branch that does bear fruit to make sure that it's worth eating and given to other members of the body. And then the other branches that don't bear fruit, he taketh them away. That it he purges it, that it bringeth more fruit. So this will be similar to you going and cropping out plants that are fruitful and making more plants out of them. That's the same thing that he does with us. So now you are clean through the word which I've spoken to you. So we're clean. The word purges us, and the more we get the word in us, the more we get renewed. Abide in me, and I in you, as the branch cannot bear fruit of itself. That's just saying that a branch can't bear fruit away from the barrel and the trunk and the trees and the roots that it gets its nutrients from. Except I abide in the vine, no more can ye, except ye abide in me. We have to abide in Yeshua and the commandments and the laws. I am the vine, and you are the branches. He abideth in me, and I in him. The same bringeth forth much fruit. For without me ye can do nothing. Kind of self-explanatory. If ye not abide in me, he cast forth as a branch, and it is withered. Men gather them and cast them into a fire. So if you're not bearing fruit, you run risk of being bunched together with fruitless branches and then cast into the fire. And they are burned. If ye abide in me, and my words abide in you, you shall ask what you will, and it shall be done unto you. Just saying, if we stand in the right path, if we stand on that narrow road, if we're staying in alignment with the kingdom, you can ask these things. You can have the authority that you need to regulate in everyday life and be a healthy and living vessel for other members of the body of Yeshua. Okay? So this other account that we're going to go into is Mark 8 and 24. And this is with Yeshua going into the town, and he had a blind man. This is that account, and he went and spit on his hands, and he rubbed them in the blind man's eye. So this is Mark 8:24, and it says, we'll start at 23. And he took the blind man by the hand, and he led him out of the town, and when he spit on his eyes, he put his hands up, and he sought out, and he saw all. And he looked up, and he said that I see man as trees. This is a precept saying that this is what we are. He gave him real insight of what we really truly are. Man is trees, trees of righteousness, extensions of the kingdom, extensions of the Lord, extensions of the Most High. So the blind man saw that man as trees, and remember that the Bible is written in similitudes, signs, and parables, and we as vessels are often referred to as trees, as plants in the Bible. Okay, so we'll touch on another precept, which is Jeremiah 17:8, and we'll just go right into that. And it says, "This is a man that keeps the commandments. This is a woman or man that keeps the commandments, that stays in the narrow path that flows within the Spirit. That person shall be as a tree planted by the waters, that spreaded out her roots by the river, and shall not see when the heat cometh." So that means that when the times get tough, when the temptation is high, when we go into that wilderness, or when we're in that place of desolation or destitute point in our lives, we won't feel it because our roots are in living water. That living water is the word. That living water tapped in to the source of nutrients, which is the kingdom and the things that the kingdom provides, living in the spiritual side of life. Her leaf shall be green, and it shall not be careful of each year. The leaf will stay green. That means the plant will stay fruitful at all times. Neither shall it cease from yielding fruit. So you'll always produce fruit, which is the things that we've been put here to do, to produce fruit for the body, to stay as a useful vessel for the kingdom, roots tapped in living water, and us yielding fruit for the entire body and ourselves. Okay? We'll touch on Proverbs 2:12-3, which goes even more into the roots and what's being called of us in that regard. So that goes into, so this is 12:3, say a man shall not be established by wickedness. So if you're in the wicked ways, deceitfulness, envy, jealousy, into addictions, these things that we can get out of by fasting and falling back and getting back into the word, says that a man shall not be established by wickedness, but by the roots of but the root of righteousness shall not be moved. These are the things that stick. These are the people that will be allowed to take part in the tree of life when the new kingdom is established here on earth. People that aren't rooted in wickedness. We'll go into Sirach. I forgot to bring my hard copy of my Apocrypha, but we'll go into Ecclesiasticus 3:28 and touch on a bit more of what the Most High has to say about our roots and how to maintain those. 3:28. All right, so it says, "In punishment of the proud there is no remedy, for the plant of wickedness has taken root in them." So this is something that starts off as a seed. You can have little bitty tiny seeds that get implanted into you, whether it be a thought, a doubt, fear, timidity, whether it be hanging in the wrong company and them instilling some kind of small seed. That seed will root, and that seed will root in wickedness. It won't root as wisdom. It won't root as right. It won't root as righteousness. It'll be things that are opposed of the kingdom. And once these things, the roots sink in, you won't be established in righteousness, because these are the things that end up as dead works. Okay? We'll also touch on the wisdom of Solomon while we're in Ecclesiasticus. This will be 3:15. 3:15. And that says, for glorious is the fruit of good labors. People who put in good works, who labor for the kingdom. and the root of wisdom shall never fade away, saying that it will continually be established. All right? Also, another precept to that will be Proverbs 12:12. The wicked desireth the net of evil men, but the root of righteousness yieldeth fruit. If you're doing righteous works and feeding into your garden daily, you'll yield fruit. You'll yield good fruit. You'll yield good fruit for your family to eat. You'll yield good fruit for your friends to take part of. And that is how the kingdom and the light expands. You get what I'm saying? All right, before we go into Hebrews, we'll go and visit Joel, and I'll explain what happens to us when we allow the enemy to operate in our lives, whether it be through, unrepentance or just outright sin or disobedience, backsliding, the things that allow the enemy to operate in our lives. Joel 2:25, the Most High states through this prophet that He will restore us. This is after having our roots of our plant, us as trees, as righteousness, the roots being attacked to cut off the supply of nutrients from that living water of the kingdom that allows us to grow and bear fruit. The roots get attacked themselves. So the enemy won't attack the leaves. The enemy wants to attack your roots, okay, to cut you off from your source of nutrients in this kingdom, in the word. And if you've had your roots attacked, they can be restored. And this is what I'm getting into here. This is Joel 2:25. And I will restore you from the years the locusts have eaten. The locusts will attack you. The cankerworm. These are things that you can bind up in your prayer. The caterpillar and the palmer worm, my great army, which he will still send among you to sift you, to bring you back into righteousness. You can pray specific prayers against the caterpillar, the palmer worm, the cankerworm that attack your roots, to have them purged so that your roots can heal and be back sourced in the living water, which that's where we rest to get this daily and lifetime amount of nutrients. Things that can repair your roots are fasting. That's probably the main one, fasting, whether it be an 8-hour fast. If you haven't been introduced into the lifestyle, 16-hour fast. The Hebrew fast, where it's evening to evening. That's one that when I feel myself getting on the side of carnality or or thinking in a certain way, I always am able to put myself in check with getting me and getting some of my buddies to fast with me and having it be more powerful. Okay, fasting and praying together, that strengthens you tenfold, 100-fold. You know what I mean? That is really a way that you can open up the windows and the doors of heaven to pour upon your life, whether it be for healing or whether it be for delivering specific areas of your life. Okay. The last one we'll touch on is in Hebrews 3:13, which is not necessarily touching on plants themselves, but it will be as you would do as you tend a garden, okay? So it's just being called to extort your brothers day by day, okay? So this is Hebrews 3:13. It says, but extort one another daily while it is called today, lest any of you be hardened through your deceitfulness of sin. That's pretty much telling us to extort one another. Keep each other in check. Don't let your brother or your sister fall by the wayside. If we're supposed to be a part of the kingdom, we're supposed to be courageous enough to hold ourselves accountable to the kingdom and the things that the kingdom commands of us, and hold the people in the body the same way, okay? So it's telling us to extort each other daily, not weekly, not monthly, but daily. This is something that we do on a moment-to-moment basis to keep ourselves in alignment, because you never know when the Most High may use you to come and use your fruit to fulfill somebody else's life and bring them into the kingdom. I just wanted to touch on this today. It was put on my heart to touch on roots. And us as plants, us as the chosen vine, us as the grafted body, which is represented by trees, by roots, by the entire plant system. So when you're going and trying to sustain your faith, try to think of it in the similitude as yourself and the body being a plant. You have to water it. You have to nurture it. You have to look after it. You have to pluck away the dead works, the unfruitful deeds. you pluck those away and get rid of them so the nutrients can get to the parts of your body and the extensions of the kingdom and of the Most High that are bearing fruit. Make sure you stay tapped daily. Make sure you stay checked in daily. It's a moment-to-moment deal, but as we get renewed day by day, make sure we keep ourselves and the other members of the body in check, especially in these last days. It's coming to a time where it has always been serious, but it's coming to a time where we're seeing these signs happening every day. You know, and I know media tries to keep us not plugged into the spirit by keeping us dialed into carnality, but obviously we see through those things. If you have spiritual eyesight and you have ears to hear and eyes to see, you're seeing right through these things, and then you know that the Most High is upon his return. So as we go into the rest of this day, I want to bid you a hearty shalom, and that you will have a peaceful day, that we're going to this first work day of the work week as laborers for the kingdom. And God bless you all. We appreciate you. Precept Performance. This is something that you do before you do a lot of overhead movements, as we have all these snatches today. And I mean, if that's too advanced for like your movement capacity right now, that's okay. You can do a body weight squat. You can do an overhead squat with a small PVC pipe, a rubber band. You can use something like this to go overhead with. I'm going to use some weight because I'm just looking for a better look, trying to get a little bit more workload. But this is something that I do to help me within the capsule itself in a bit more range of motion and kind of removing the impingements that can happen when you're doing overhead movements. This is another movement we can do to help with range of motion when we're doing overhead movements. Kind of work with the PVC pipe, going overhead. I like to band my knees and ankles as I go into overhead squat, just to work on that range of motion and to get my hips and stuff warmed up before I do these movements. It's something you can work on before getting into these movements. It's good for warm-ups, a couple pop squats.